a rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And boy, I blink and there's a whole bunch of new news to go over, and a lot of it's quite interesting. Well, it's all interesting if you're a Doctor Who nerd, such as myself, and I think that's a fair description of me. The Jack Frost has arrived here in Israel. It's starting to get cold. I had to turn the heat on last night in my bedroom. No, that I'm not talking in code. I just had to turn the heat on. I was cold, right? So winter is here, which means in the scant few days we're gonna have to start thinking about putting up the Christmas decorations. I always kind of giggle, right? Because I am a rabbi. I live in Samaria. Literally, I do, okay? That's exactly where I am. And in an ultra-Orthodox religious community, and I freaking love Christmas, right? The more I lean into Christmas, the more I enjoy it. My kids are all like, oh, cringe. No, Christmas is awesome, baby. And I am looking forward to Christmas. I'm always looking forward to Christmas. I just like mince pies, really, and Christmas pudding and the food. I like everything. I do like Christmas. Although this year we actually got to go a little bit above and beyond. Normally on the Sabbath around Christmas, I think this year is going to be the 23rd of December. Much like on Thanksgiving, we do a Sabbath Thanksgiving meal. We do a Sabbath Christmas. So I made my own Christmas crackers that you'll have to pull apart on Shabbat because you're not allowed to, on the Sabbath, you're not allowed to do that. And I got party hats I put in them, little jokes and things like that. I've taken care of that, the whole thing. I was going to kind of try to wind it down this year, but apparently my son's girlfriend very much into it Christmas, so I got to really crank it up, right? So we got to do full Christmas. That's what to look forward to. Quite honestly, I just think there's a lot to look forward to right now in general. Look, having said that, I do think we're in for a winter of discontent. I think we're going to be hitting really, really, really hard headwinds this winter. Everywhere in the world, actually, apart from Israel, I have to tell you, we're doing better than any of you guys. I guess it's because we always paid more for gas, right? But we're doing fine here. You guys are like, there's an egg shortage in England. What the hell's up with that? Oh, we had an egg shortage here about a few months ago. But you don't expect that. You don't expect shortages of basic supplies in life. And apparently, because it's happening all over, isn't it? What's really going on is the egg manufacturers, the conglomerates that make that produce eggs, that chickens make the eggs, are just charging a bit more for the eggs now because they can't. Everything is messed up, right? Having said that, I'm very optimistic about the future. I really am. I think Doctor Who looks like it's going to be fantastic. The more I see of Ncuti Gatwa, the more I have an idea what he's going to be doing with Doctor Who, and the more I'm excited by it, right? Genuinely happy and excited by it. I think he's going to be very doctorish and very different from anything we've seen before. Very physical. He uses his body in an interesting way, kind of flirty even, right? And I love seeing, Millie Gibson. Freaking gorgeous. That has sent, the ex-Jodie fans into a tailspin, right? That, I said, she's an attractive, look, she's a very, very, very attractive woman, right? Very attractive woman. That doesn't mean I want to rape her, right? That doesn't mean, no, it means, yes, I'm turned on by her because I'm a normal human male, absolutely. And they're freaking out about it. It's the weirdest thing. I found this whole thread of a popular Twitter guy, weird. It's just weird. No, she's a very attractive lady. What do you want me to tell you? Yes, I am attracted to very attractive lady. Most people don't say that. I mean, that's maybe it. Most people don't go, holy shit, you're hot, right? Most people don't do that. What can I tell you? I'm a little bit more honest than most. But I feel no shame in saying that I am sexually attracted to this very young, very attractive woman. Not that I'm going to act on that sexual attraction. I mean, it's so weird. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to act on sexual attraction. I'm a rabbi, you morons, right? I don't touch the shiksas, much that I would like to, don't get me wrong. And second, let's say I could get over that hurdle. I'm married, right? I love my wife. I think it would upset her if I slept with somebody else, right? No matter how hot they are. I could say, look at her, darling. Look at Millie. She's freaking gorgeous. What am I supposed to do, right? I don't think I'm going to go step over that line. Now, let's say I did. How am I convincing Millie to sleep with me? How's that going to happen? Tell me the plan. in the comments, let me know what your, because a bunch of them hate watching me now. I thought my subs went way up because I've been doing YouTube Shorts. No, it's because they became obsessed with me again. Explain to me the plan of how, okay, assuming the religious thing's gone, right? Assuming I'm being married's gone, right? How am I actually getting her into bed? I mean, she's an incredibly successful, very attractive young lady who I live in a different fucking country to. What's your plan, right? What is your plan? No, I don't think you have it. Anyway, Shooty and Millie are pretty good together. Okay. Check out that video. There's a real nice vibe to it, and we're going to look at one of the news stories today about, well, we got an even better idea. I think they're going to be playing her much like Rose, much like a 18-year-old companion. Which I think is what Doctor Who really works for. It's always worked before. I think it'll work again. Fine, before we get into all the news stories, like, share, subscribe, comment, all those things are fantastic. Thank you very much. I am grateful. I am grateful for all that stuff. Amazingly enough, I am absolutely grateful for everybody liking, sharing, subscribing. You can just do one of those things, and it's fantastic, right? I like subscribe best. YouTube like share best. I know, try and make us both happy, baby. You know, it's a double team us, I think, is the expression. Is that the expression? I don't know. I'm not actually sure. Like, share, subscribe, comment, sign up to my Substack. It's in the video notes. It's my email newsletter. I'm supposed to put out more stuff in it, but I really don't. I feel so guilty. I'm plowing through a story that I'm writing for Dr. Alex's next anthology on like Capaldi-esque Doctor Who. And I really got to finish, but he also needs me to do the cover as well. So I want to finish the story before I do the cover, right? I just got to get it done. So I didn't put that much into my Substack. I did. I put a bunch of stuff in there. You know what I put out? Oh my gosh, on Fridays. Fridays is a good day to sign up. I send out out-of-print Virgin or BBC books. That out of print. So this one was The Dark Path. It was a David McIntee book with the second Doctor and the Delgado Master, how the Delgado Master became the Delgado. So I throw those extras in all the time. Also, there's a paid version. Go there. Follow me on Instagram. I just started doing Instagram. I quite like it. So everything's in video notes. Fine. Let us get to the many stories. So this is a quick little throwaway story. It's just kind of fun. It's been doing the rounds. Like every day I search for Doctor Who on the Google, see what's new there. This story keeps going up. I kept ignoring it. You can't really see it here in this picture. This is David Tennant with Ty Tennant. Now, Ty Tennant, everybody tells me is adopted, right? And why would I disbelieve them? Other than he looks very much like David, right? He just looks very, very much like David Tennant to me. Maybe not. Maybe I'm not. I don't think they'll lie about it. If he's adopted, if they're saying he's adopted, unless we've got some weird Shakespearean thing going on, he's probably adopted. Fine, so we've got this ongoing comedic thing with Peter Davison, David Tennant's father-in-law, was standing in front of him in conventions with a sign saying, he's not that special, as there's these massive lines lining up for David Tennant. I would rather watch a Peter Davison Doctor Who, quite frankly. But okay, never mind. It might be so weird because that whole speech in, was it Time Crash? Where David Tennant said, "Oh, you were my doctor, right?" And now his doctor is his father-in-law and less popular as a doctor than him. That's weird. I mean, do you ever think they ever invite round Paul McGann for dinner or something? That's just gotta be strange, right? I think the whole thing's strange. Anyway, again, you can't see it because it's too small. I'm not going to bother enlarging it. This is from Georgia Tennant's Twitter account. Twitter, I'm really enjoying right now. Okay, Twitter's got to be a lot of fun of late. Which basically they got Ty Tennant, who was in House of the Dragon. He was very good in House of the Dragon for 2 episodes. I think it was better than the guy who took over him in the last 2 episodes. So he's signing autographs, and he got his father, David Tennant, standing above him with the same sign as Peter Davison. He's not that special. Who is that special? Let's get back to Millie Gibson. So there's two reasons I want to look at this story. Well, three reasons. One is about Millie Gibson, and she's had a haircut. This is her look that she's going to have for season 14. Firstly, look at her. She looks like Margot Robbie. Right, the more I look at her, and believe me, I'm looking at her a lot. The more I look at her, God, that's what makes these like Twitter crazes really upset when I say things like that. She makes me horny. What do you want out of me? I'm like, okay, that's one of the reasons why she's successful. People respond well to attractive people. It's how human beings work. Look, basic breakdown of human sexuality. Men, generally speaking, are visually orientated, right? Men are turned on by looking at hot people. That's what men do. Now, women are also, but the female sex drive is much more being turned on by being looked at, by being appreciated, by being beautiful. Okay, so that's essentially the drive for a woman to look beautiful, right? To beautify herself. Why? Because we are programmed as a species, so that's how we mate and reproduce. Morons, weirdos. Okay. Speaking of making reproduce, let's talk about Millie Gibson again. Yeah, she looks very, very good. Anyway, there's three reasons. One, I like looking at pictures of Millie Gibson because I'm a normative male, right? Normative human male. I like looking at pictures of Millie Gibson. Yes, she's 18. Yes, she's younger than my youngest daughter. Yes, she's younger than my youngest son's girlfriend. Yes, that is uncomfortable for me. I will admit that. That is uncomfortable. But I'm still a human being, okay? So anyway, so this is her haircut that she's going to have for the series, which means I think they're trying to make her slightly less glam. Maybe, even though she looks very, very glamorous. She looks like Margot Robbie, right? And I think she looks better than Margot Robbie. I think Margot Robbie, is great. I loved, was it Suicide Squad with her in it? Just watched Guardians of the Galaxy last night, the Christmas special. I'm not sure what they called it. It was really fun, lovely. I look, James Gunn, fantastic. I really like his work. This is going to be her look for season 14. And again, it to me indicates that they're playing her a little less glam and a little more young and innocent, I think. They're playing her a little bit more young and innocent. And again, their body language together with Shooty and Millie, it's fantastic. I think it's going to be like the Fourth Doctor and Sarah Jane. I think it's going to be so freaking iconic. And I also think that it's going to be she's going to be a huge star, right? Why do I think she's going to be a huge star? Just the stars are aligning. And I understand there are a lot of real, genuine naysayers in the Doctor Who community going, no, more of the same, it's going to suck. It's going to suck. I don't think so, right? I think the stars are aligning. I think Shooter's going to be great. I think Bitter's going to be great. I think the scripts are going to be great. Yes, they will have a social conscience, right? Yes, they will reflect Rusty Davies, I would say, somewhat bonkers worldview. Yes, okay. I think they're going to be great stories as well. I think one of the big motivators is how much arts and entertainment have absolutely failed to make the case for causes that he likes, that he supports. I think more people have been turned off to the trans movement than yes, people aren't allowed to say anything bad about it in public. We understand that. I think that's turned off more people towards it than were ever turned off before. I had no trouble, right? Now I'm being told I have to agree with everything. I'm like, well, wait, what? I don't really want to. So yeah, I think it's called a detriment. But the main reason that I'm showing you this story, and this story and the next story, is because it's from, oh God, she looks so hot. I was like, really, Millie? Will you please stop being so insanely hot? It's in the Sun, right? Doctor Who, once again, after, I would say, a relatively long hiatus of having positive stories in the mainstream media, is back, right? Doctor Who is back. Welcome back, Doctor Who. So I like that this story is in the Sun, right? And again, the Sun is not, I was going to say it's not a bastion of journalism, but who is? Like who tells the truth? Well, and who says when they get things wrong? Nobody. They're all useless. They're all awful, right? Don't trust any news. I mean, I quite like Tim Pool. I like Russell Brand. I'll tell you why I like Russell Brand, even though he's a bit of a self-aggrandizing prick, right? Because he's got a worldview very different from mine, right? Very, very opposite from mine. It's very, to a great extent, anti-religious. But I think because he's a humanist, and I think because he's honest, I tend to agree with him on a lot of things. And you know. It's we're living in strange times, right? But generally speaking, the news media is useless. I mean, absolutely useless. If you look at the political nightmare that you're living in England right now. What you have the weirdo Klaus Schwab, is it Klaus Schwab his name? Conservative Party by Rushy, whatever his name is. They're the Labour Party, right? And you have the Labour Party who are pretty much the same, just got a slightly more anti-Semites and incompetence worked into them. Incredibly, you know, how do you get more anti-Semites and incompetence in one place? You go to the Labour Party. And again, only slightly, only by a hair. But you have like anybody who I would say is vaguely normal is politically adrift right now. Why? Because the media is useless. It used to be that the media's job was to hold government, hold our leaders accountable. Right now, they're there to prop them up. Anyway, what the news is that Doctor Who is being featured prominently and positively in mainstream populist media, which means this is just good news for us, right? This is just good news. I think Doctor Who is going to get much better. Now, how is it going to get much better? Let's go to another mainstream bit of media, The Mirror, right? The Mirror, I think, has a pretty good reputation for having accurate rumours. Now, this one is written by Nicola Methen, right? So I was on doing a live stream last night. Dan was with me, and Dan was telling me that they used to be accurate, and then when he thinks this lady took over, not so much. But I've been looking back at her previous articles, right? And they're all pretty much on the money. Like Bonnie Langford is about to appear in Power of the Doctor. When did Power of the Doctor air? This is from, was it October 6th? Here, 1 second. The Power of the Doctor. Okay, what date is it? Wikipedia, fine. Well, just tell me the air date. 23rd. Okay, so this is quite significantly before. Right, so, yeah, okay, so, I don't know. This was, good few weeks out. And then in August, she basically talked about the multi-doctor costume. So it seems to me they got quite a good history of getting this thing right? It's I think they're doing pretty darn good. By the way, you probably can't see it in the video clip they have scrolling at the top when they're announcing Millie. I think this special effect, time tunnel special effect that we're seeing, is something that we're going to be seeing a lot. This looks a lot better than they've done these things before. So that's quite exciting. So I've always said, because Russell Davies always said, the goal is not to make Doctor Who. The goal is to make Doctor Who universe. They want to do what Star Trek desperately wants, what Star Wars desperately wants, what MCU desperately wants. And have repeatedly failed to do, make something culturally significant and popular, that you could a universe that you can stream many shows about on a streaming service, right? They've all failed, right? The MCU has been a disaster, right? MCU, because they filled it full of diversive agenda. This whole phase, I don't even know what phase it's up to of the MCU, was all about replacing the white male heroes with anything other, mainly female, right? Mainly white female heroes, occasional black person, as long as Disney could just hold their nose. They're so racist, Disney. Anyway, so people think, oh my, they're going to do the same thing to Doctor Who. I don't think so. But the goal, I think, is to have a Doctor Who channel. I am hoping, right? Hoping against hope that channel's going to have all the classic Doctor Who, all of modern Doctor Who, and all of this revival, the second revival, I would say. The 2023 revival is the second revival of Doctor Who, with tons of spin-offs. Now, again, Rusty Davies when he was negotiating this, he was saying, that's when he was promoting It's a Sin. Right, and he was like, yes, there should be like the Nissa Adventures and David Tennant and Matt Smith joining up for some mini-series epic. So that sort of thing. So this is the first, I would say, official nod in the direction of what type of spin-off we're going to get. And it actually sounds like a good idea. It sounds like a very good idea. Exclusive Doctor Who villains, Cyberman Daleks to get spin-off series in huge Disney deal. Doctor Who, by the way, a level of content they would really do good to have on it is these sort of channels, honest shows talking about Doctor Who. I mean, I would say be positive, and I would say don't do the Will Wheaton thing. Find somebody who's honest. Right, and again, nothing full of agenda. Crystal D was full of agenda, right? Crystal D was basically screaming her political agenda and then nodding slightly to Doctor Who, right? And, God, I'm glad those days are really over. But I think they should be adding in fan shows, right, to discuss Doctor Who. That would make a lot of sense. They could do really cool ones. They could do like watch-alongs or City of Death, which I really wish Rusty Davies would do. With Rusty Davies live tweeting or Instagramming his way through it, right? And they could do it on the platform very easily. They could do like Mystery Science Theater 3000, him and Mark Gatiss and Stephen Moffat talking about City of Death, right? And a little cut out. They could easily do that sort of stuff. They have the technology. It's really, really there to do it. I'm hoping they do. But this is the first actual, scripted drama we're talking about. Doctor Who villains like the Weeping Angels and the dreaded Daleks are iconic as the time traveler himself. Well, yes. And his police box TARDIS. And we will be soon seeing more of them, according to an insider. Again, do I think this is speculation, or do I think this is sourced? I don't know. I could really go either way on this one, right? I could really go either way. Doctor Who average decided Cybermen and Daleks to get their own series, an insider said. So, when I first read that, I thought we're getting like a Dalek Empire series and the Cyber Empire, the Cyber Domain series. But no, they're talking about one series. Showrunner Rusty Davies is pushing ahead with plans to make a Whoniverse with a Marvel-style spin-off. Honestly, I genuinely think Disney is desperate for success. I know they say they're so successful and everything they do is the bestest ever. They are lying. You know when they say they hate racism? They're lying. If they hated racism, they wouldn't have removed John Boyega from the Star Wars poster because he's black, right? That's a bit of that's for China, right? That's a bit of an indication that you're pretty okay with racism, right? They're lying, right? When they keep saying, "Oh, Disney's doing so good," they're lying, right? They're lying. I am concerned that Bob Chapek, who was the CEO of Disney when this deal went down, seems to be a patsy, right? Seems to be he was put there by his predecessor, Bob Iger, who really created Disney's woes that they have now. And I know you keep saying, but Disney's doing better than them. They're lying. It's called a lie, right? It's like when BBC says Doctor Who did well. They're lying. Okay, I don't know how to express this in a way that makes sense to you, but they are lying. Okay, what are they doing? Yes, it's called lying. They are lying. That's correct. Fine. But yeah, so I think they're desperate for a successful franchise. It comes after BBC struck a deal with Disney Plus worth tens of millions last month. Well, I think they were working quite longer than that. BBC sold the US giant the global streaming rights. I think Bad Wolf did. Quite frankly, I think it was much more Sony and Bad Wolf, right? The deal means the budget of the 24 series, so the 15th Doctor, could triple. I good today. Source says, fans expect to see, here it is, Sontarans, Weeping Angels, and Sea Devils in a separate series showing what they get up to, where the Doctor isn't there to stop them, along with the Daleks and Cybermen. So we're talking about an anthology show, which, damn, that sounds exciting, doesn't it, right? So and please, give Nick Briggs the scripting duties on at least one episode, right? His work is so good. There's a lot of new talent that you can mine at Big Finish. I just saw, Ross and McPhillips, who I thought was a girl, is actually a boy. Sorry for misgendering you, Ross. And now, Ross, I think, is one of the strongest new writers at Big Finish. I think I'll check out their other work, right? I really like everything they've done. They just commented on my video Starcops, and I feel bad now for the Star who was saying, I don't think I'm buying the next box set. Right? I felt really bad about it, right? But yeah, listen, Russell, go to Nick. He's got a stable of good, solid writers. I mean, look, was it Scott Hancock's there? I would like to see Ross and Phillips get a script. I would like to see Nick Briggs do on the scripting duties. I mean, like, really, how much more can the man prove himself? Really? Speaking of last year, at the said these exciting new products were part of what lured him back to the BBC and suggested the scope for a Doctor Who dedicated channel. There are things coming up that are brand new ways of telling stories that have never been done before. Yes, and that's what I'm looking forward to seeing, right? So it just feels new. I wouldn't have gone back if it wasn't feeling new, all right? And I am tempted to start a TikTok channel because that seems to be where everything's going on, right? That's where the new things are happening. It's where the youth is today. The showrunner already has a form of expanding Doctor Who universe in his first tenure with his as the reboot boss from 2005. He was behind Torchwood, one of the best anagrams of all time. It says Doctor Who, if you don't know. Starring John Barrowman as Captain Jack. Yeah, sadly, not anymore. The BBC, I believe the BBC are the major proponents behind the cancelling of John Barrowman, right? Because the BBC just can't be wrong, right? They just cannot be. And Michael Gray said the same thing, and it's to their weakness, right? They are far weaker for it. So they did Torchwood and Sarah Jane Adventures featuring Elizabeth Sladen in the title role. We should be sitting here announcing the Nissa Adventures and the Return of Donna Noble. Well, we are announcing the Return of Donna Noble, Davies said last year. The whole science fiction world is so creative and so money-making right now. I think your wildest dreams can come true. Apparently that's what's going on. I mean, listen, I would love just to have a bit of a time-space visualizer looking forward to 2025 and having a look back, seeing what we could get. Of course, if I was going to do that, I would use my time-space visualizer to go and get the episodes of Doctor Who that are missing, right? You know, I think that's a good use of the time-space visualizer. But I would also look forward as well. His ambitions sit well with Disney's thread for maximizing content within franchises by creating a whole expanding universe of overlapping characters and timeframes. That's true. Former showrunner Stephen Moffat expressed concerns that after he left in 2017 that without bigger budgets, Doctor Who could be left behind by shows like Game of Thrones. Well, listen, Game of Thrones in 2017. Do you remember when Game of Thrones was good? Yeah, it took a long time for it to get good again. Right? You had to completely reboot it. A show that generates as much money as the BBC should be getting more of it back, frankly, he declared. Disney Plus has capitalized on Star Wars and Marvel spin-off series, including Andor, Mandalorian, and Loki. Loki was awful, right? It was good in that it had Tom Hiddleston, but it just wasn't very good, and the Obi-Wan Kenobi was awful. Andor is it's a 12-hour miniseries that would have worked good as a 2-hour movie. It's so boring, right? It's just so agonizingly slow and boring, and nothing really happens. And you get one plot point, per hour, and you should be lucky for that. You should be grateful for that. BBC said it was too early to comment on any plans. In other words, they can't release it. So I don't know. Do you think this is real? I think there's a good chance. I think there's a good chance there's going to be an anthology show based surrounding monsters. That seems like a good idea to me, right? That seems like an idea where you'll also be able to bring in lots of new talent and you'll be able to do interesting new things, right? It seems, I hate to use the expression, a no-brainer, right? So, look, Mirror's got a good track record of predicting stuff. We know there's going to be other series in the universe, right? We won't be trying to guess what they're going to be. My favorite one was what's his name? He was just in Andor, right? Lord of the Rings. What's the bloody name again? Smeagol. Him playing Sabalon Glitz. Oh, fuck, I've got to look it up. Okay, I've got to look it up. What shit? Let's do Andor, right? Andor cast. I know he's in that. God, boring person. Ray, how many boring people did we get here? He should be higher up in this. Andy Serkis! I just remember before Andy bloody Serkis. Andy Serkis playing Sabalon Glitz, right? You know, that kind of works, you know? I would certainly like to see that. So, I don't know. Again, let me know in the comments, what you think. But they have been asking over at over at Radio Times, or here's them telling the same story again. So this story is making the rounds quite liberally. But they by the way, before we go to the story continuing this, just have a look at this. This is a desperation to continually legitimize the Jodie Whittaker run as being in any way successful. Because nobody's going to click on this headline. Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who's final Jodie Whittaker episode broke a huge record. So people are not going to look beyond that headline. They go scrolling through Digital Spy. Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who does very well, right? When you look down in it, it's actually about William Russell appearing after 57 years, right? Filling again after 57 years in Doctor Who, which is the longest. It's the record for the longest time between character appearances. But it's designed to make you think, as the 13th Doctor say, oh, brilliant. She wouldn't say that. It's designed to make you think it wasn't a complete disaster and was in some way successful. It wasn't, right? It wasn't successful. Sorry. Right, so BBC Radio Times, I just say, put out a Twitter thread asking what type of spin-offs people would like. What is popular, right? And I think the overwhelming one is a Paul McGann series. But let's go Let's go over what they said. Rusty Davies is returning. Sex Education on Shooty Gatwa, Coronation Street, Millie Gibson. If you thought the appearance of David Tennant was a shock, we've got plenty more surprises on the way. Davis teased last month. I know he does. And Davis, RTD, such an incredible tease, right? I never really want to be teased by a gay man, but I'm kind of enjoying this one, right? I'm kind of enjoying this one. I'm not rethinking my sexuality. No, I am just, RTD, bit of a tease, baby, bit of a tease. The path to Shooty's 15th Doctor is laden with mystery, horror, robots, puppets, interesting, danger and fun. How it's all connected to the return of the wonderful Donna Noble. I guess we're going to find out. I think the puppet, by the way, is David Tennant, right? I think David Tennant will be revealed to be an action figure. One of the best thumbnails I've done, right? I'm really, really proud of that thumbnail. I should really go and start looking at my best thumbnails of the year for December when we do the year in review. But here, let's see what they're talking about. Firstly, people wanted historical episodes, and I'm not entirely opposed, but they're difficult to write to remain interesting. What's the last one? The Massacre? Why don't we do a search for Doctor Who historical episodes? Doctor Who historical episodes. Do you have a list of them? Gunfighters. Let's say they've done 12 pure historicals, which are An Unearthly Child, well, parts 2, 3, and 4. Marco Polo, the Aztecs, Reign of Terror, the Romans, the Crusade, the Mythmakers, and the Massacre at Saint Bartholomew's Eve. And that's where they ran out of steam. They did the Gunfighters, but it didn't really work, and the Smugglers. So will there be more? It's very hard to do. right? They're very hard to do and to remain engaging. Easily the most popular demand from fans, never listen to fans, they're always wrong. Fans who responded to our social media posts was pure historical stories. If you're not familiar with the lingo, we are. Please more historical stories, said one bloke. Return of pure historicals. One season, no aliens in the episode, just the Doctor and companions of the story. Okay, no! That's a bad idea. Do you remember when Christian was saying, we're not going to put any returning aliens or monsters into season 11. We're just going to let Jodie shine. How did that work out for you? Not so good, right? But if you can do it and it works, that's great. Please bring back the historicals without aliens and monsters, even if just for one series. No, one episode, okay? It's not so much for a world building and story variety. I listen. Honestly, in today's political landscape, I do not want to know about anybody's take on history. I think it's going to be corrupt and just not going to work. Honestly, the last historical thing I think I saw that I liked was Taboo, which I was supposed to do a second series of, but they never did. Maybe they will. Pure historicals were a key format of the show's early years. Yeah, they do drop by the time we hit Troughton. Serving as a regular alternative to outer space escapades, but had been mostly phased out by the mid-60s. Could they return? Anything could happen. Gallifrey falls no more again. I mean, this was such a dumb idea of Mr. Chibnall. It really was a bad idea, wasn't it? Gallifrey, the Time Lord's home planet, has regenerated after certain death almost as many times as the Doctor. It was just dumb. It was actually Russell Davies who did away with it first, if you don't count the spin-off fiction, which of course, for the purpose of sound, we won't hear, revealing that the revived show's second episode, the planet had been obliterated. The destruction came with, they were breaking people back into Doctor Who. Right, they had to get people they had to get the idea of Doctor Who being the Doctor, right? Well, and then before explaining all this lore, that's probably the mistake the McGann movie made. It opened up with all this lore, and they should have just opened up with an adventure, right? And probably having the regeneration was a bad idea as well. Gallifrey was resurrected later by Stephen Moffat, who revealed the planet's inhabitants were in fact not destroyed, but rather left frozen in a pocket dimension before being moved to the end of the universe. End of the universe, give or take a star system for its own protection. Still following, and then you had a quest to find the Gallifrey, right? They Matt Smith's at the end of the fifth. Now we're going to set out and find Gallifrey, and they just kind of forgot about it. Really, they mentioned it at the end of Capaldi's first season. Was it Moffat's successor as lead writer, one Doctor Who, Chris Chibnall, then opted to lay the planet waste again? Dumb. That's why I say the Jodie Whittaker years took place in a non-canonical pocket universe. It makes a lot more sense. But will Davies revive it a second time in the show's history? Probably. He'll probably just say it was never gone. Gallifrey revived. Honestly, there was no need to destroy it. Yes, we all agree. I want Gallifrey back. Me too. There's so much more, especially with the budget tripling. They'll have time to build. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. And so one says Gallifrey needs to have some kind of ongoing presence in the show, as opposed. No, it doesn't. Two-parters at least. Has Chris Chibnall not done that? Did he not do any two? I mean, we got Flux. That was a six-parter. But it wasn't really a six-parter. That's the thing. You had the Villa of Dildo and the Lone Cybermen one and the Timeless Children. That was kind of a three-parter. So what are they bloody talking about? Oh, when did they go away? The return of the series lasting more than a single episode was a popular demand. Multi-story episodes with cliffhanger endings, please. More two-parters, longer, slower stories. Listen, I have no worries about the storytelling abilities of this new era, right? And I think it's going to be a mixture. Spin-offs or MC Who, right? Though he's yet to address the matter directly since taking back the showrunner mantle, fans are widely assuming Russell T Davies is set to expand the Whoniverse with a series of spin-off building out a shared universe of the which is the rigor of the we just said all this, right? Yes, we know RTD actually got there before Mark. What, am I in some kind of Groundhog Day time loop? What the fuck? Yes, we know. We just said that. So, okay, but they haven't said. Okay, so like again, the was it an 8th Doctor show? I think that would work as a 4-part miniseries, right? You don't have to be confined to any season length. Right, I'd love to see Capaldi back. Right, man, I'd love to see Capaldi back. I just saw him on Twitter, like a little video of him on Twitter going around the TARDIS, flicking the console. He was so good, right? I would like to see Capaldi back. Right, old friends and foes. Well, foes we dealt with. I would like to think that Sophie Aldred is in the running for a TV show as well, because I think she was going to be in Sarah Jane Adventures. I know many of you watching this didn't watch the Power of the Doctor, and I completely understand why. Look, I only watched it out of obligation so I could review it. I was surprised that I didn't hate it as much as the rest of the Doctor Who, but I still don't consider it Doctor Who. There was a lot of good bits to it, but the best bit to it was Sophie Aldred. Sophie Aldred was freaking awesome in it, right? She was really, really good, and her scenes with Graham were good, right? I mean, if you want to find a way of legitimizing some way the Jodie Whittaker era, that would be it. I mean, Graham had the best line in it, where Ace turns up with a baseball bat, right, and blows up a couple of Daleks. Doesn't make any sense, but okay, they did that, and she says, so I'm like, I'm Ace, and Graham's like, I bet you are, darling. I bet she is. So yeah, I think that's a I would like to hope that that's happening. The other thing, animation. You can do so much with previous Doctors with animation. Big Finish are your man to do the voiceover work on it. I mean, you can get Tim Trelaw doing a 3rd Doctor story. And again, as an anthology, I think that would be awesome, right? I think that would be absolutely fantastic. Who knows what we're going to be getting, right? Who knows what we're going to be getting? I just think we're going to be getting good things, right? I'm genuine. I mean, other than, the imposing... the impending, doom of winter, right? We're all supposed to freeze to death because there's no electricity. But other than that, I'm genuinely optimistic, right, about the future of Doctor Who. And again, I understand there are many people out there who just think I'm a naive fool, and maybe I am, right? Maybe I am. Unlucky I am. Okay, I am. That's true. I am. But sometimes I'm right too. Sometimes I'm right too. And I think this might be one of the times I think the stars are aligning, right, to get a fantastic Doctor Who. One can only dream. One can only dream. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.